Now let's go over the core components of the conversational flow agents. Okay, this is going to be really important because it is these nodes that make up the agent that you go ahead and build out. And if you look here, these are all the nodes that we have here. So we're going to go over each individual one so that you know what it is. So that way, when you're building this out, you know exactly which node to choose. And this is similar to DaVinci Resolve. If you've used DaVinci Resolve to edit videos, I believe it's one of the only video editing software that actually uses nodes, at least in Fusion. So DaVinci Resolve Fusion, you use nodes, and that's the same exact idea here. So we're going to go over each one so that you know exactly what it means. So here you're going to have the node type. Here you're going to have the purpose, and then here you're going to have the description and use case. So the first is going to be conversations. And example here is, we're also going to provide an example here so that you know, like, when we say conversations, what can this, what would an example, what would the voice agent say as an example here? So here, it's like, what type of property are you interested in? Single or family or condo? So just a conversation, right? You would mostly use this, okay? You would use conversation. It's probably one of the nodes that you would use the most, okay? So here it displays message and handles logic. The description is this is one of the core of the flow. Use it to ask questions, collect answers, route basic logic based on the response. Basic logic based on the response. So that's conversation. It's going to be one of the most used nodes. Then you have the welcome node. This is going to be when you first get started, okay? So it's the first interaction point of the user. This is an example of this is like, hi, this is Sarah from XYZ. What kind of property are you interested in? Or, this is probably not even a good example. It's like, hi, this is MJ. How can I help you today? Hi, this is MJ. Thank you for calling MJ's Real Estate Group. How can I help you today? So it's essentially the welcome node. It's the first interaction point. This is the entry point of the call. It introduces the agent and starts the flow. Whatever you want to write here, you feel free to write it, but it's the first thing that someone will hear when they call an agent. Then you have the press digital. So that's this right here, press digital. For this right here, it collects DTMF input, keypads like 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say, if you've ever called customer service, you probably have called customer service and they say, press 1 to talk to an agent, press 2 for listings. So maybe you have a bigger operation and you want to separate between certain things. Well, you can do that. You can do that with this function right here. This allows users to select options by pressing a number on their phone, okay? So press 1 to talk to customer service, press 2 to talk to electronics, press 3 to talk, right? If you've ever called any company like Walmart or Best Buy or any of these businesses, they usually will have something like this where they reroute you based on who it is that you're looking to speak to. Then you have the SMS node. So over here, the purpose is to simply send an SMS. This automatically sends an SMS during or after the call. So this is really great. For example, if you are on the phone with someone, if the agent is on the phone with someone and they say they're looking to book, well, in real time, it can go ahead and send them a link to a property tour, right? So for example, it'll say, great, so here's the link to our property tour. Check your calendar or check your phone and they'll be able to get the message immediately, okay? So you can add that in here by clicking the SMS function, okay? Then here you have logic split. So this adds conditional branching. It splits the conversation based on the criteria like the budget, location, or agent status. So for example, if a buyer says they want 1 million, it will go ahead and add them to the luxury flow, okay? Anything else would be the standard flow. So let's say, for example, you are a real estate agent and you have properties that range from $500,000 all the way over to over $5 million. Well, the $500,000 property is going to be different than the property that's $5 million. So what you can do is you can add a custom, you can add a logic split wherein you have an entire conversation based on people that want properties over 5 million, and then you have another entire conversation based on properties that are under 5 million. Okay, so if someone mentions something, let's say you're asking them like, what is your budget, or your house you're looking for is around how much? If they say, for example, 5 million, well, you could have an entire conversation mapped out for that. And what you'll do is you'll have a custom logic split that will take that conversation that way. If someone says something under 5 million, you'll have an entire conversation that way, and you'll have a logic split that will allow that conversation to go down the other direction. So, that's just an example, but really the idea here is that you can split the conversation, okay, based on the criteria like the budget, location, or agent status. Maybe another great example, in the case of real estate is, let's say you work with businesses, like in the Bay Area. Okay, let's say you are a real estate agent in the Bay Area, and you you help people in both the North Bay and the South Bay. Well, if someone says they're looking for a house in the North Bay, you can have a custom logic that takes them to conversation flow based on North Bay and vice versa on South Bay. So you can see, you can get really strategic with like how you go ahead and build this out. But this is the idea of a logic split. It splits a conversation based on a criteria. Next thing here, we have the function, and this executes a webhook or an API call. So it can send or receive internal data like publish and lead into a CRM or pulling properties availability. So here you can push details to go high level or CRM. For example, someone books a call, or someone, you just want to take some information from one place to the other using webhooks or APIs. You can do that with this function right here, okay? With this node called function. Next is extract variable. So over here, what this does is it pulls specific input from a user response. So used to extract saved data like name, phone number, or location. This is going to be the node called extract data. So you can extract variable right here. So if you want to extract someone's name, maybe it'll say, can I get your full name, please, so I can book this call? Someone provides you their full name. Here you can have this custom variable that says extract user's name. So it'll actually extract that individual's name and save it. Next, you have agent transfer. So over here, you basically just transfer it to an agent, transfer the call to an actual human, routes the call to a live representative when the lead is qualified or requests to speak to them directly. So someone says, can I speak to Sarah now? You can have them transfer them over. MCP, this is optional, rarely used unless integrating multi-mediums at once. This is multi-channel processing. Advanced setup handles data from multiple communication channels like SMS, voice, or chat if it's enabled. Basically allows SMS, voice, and chat all to communicate with one another. Honestly, I've never used this function right here, but that's essentially what that is. And then you have the ending node. This ends the conversation gracefully. It closes out the entire flow agent and a final message. So inside of DaVinci Resolve, when you're building, when you're using Fusion and you're building out these nodes, at the very end you have the output, right? And the same idea applies here. You need to have an ending node so that the voice agent understands this is the end of the conversation. And over here you can have a message, which is like, great, thank you for calling Sarah's team. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, so this right here, guys, is the core components of an agent. I think if you understand these, then you're already like 80% ahead, okay? Because after you understand these, it's just a matter of like playing Tetris, if you will, and mapping out how a conversation is going to go, right? So if you understand these nodes and how they work, then you just need to understand how do you want the conversation to go, and if it goes a certain way, how would you like to reroute it, right? And based on these nodes, you would be able to do that. Okay, so that's the core components of the agent.